Welcome to Between the Lines podcast. I'm Jess.
And I'm Janine.
And we both work at the Winkler branch of the South Central Regional Library.
In this podcast, we talk about books with our own twist. We talk about just the first half and predict where it might be going.
And finish reading the book and discuss the second half.
There will be snark, there will be spoilers, and depending on the book, there may be references to violence, sex, or other adult topics.
So if that's not for you, stop listening now.
All right, let's get into this week's book. So, today we have a lovely junior fiction book for you, The Winterborne Home for Vengeance and Valor by Ali Carter. April didn't mean to start the fire. She wasn't the one who broke the vase. April didn't ask to go live in a big, creepy mansion with a bunch of orphans who just don't understand that April isn't like them. After all, April's mother is coming back for her someday very soon. All April has to do is find the clues her mother left inside the massive mansion. But Winterborne House is hiding more than one secret, so April and her friends are going to have to work together to unravel the riddle of a missing heir, a creepy legend, and a mysterious key before the only home they've ever known is lost to them forever. This is book 1 in the Winterborne Home for Vengeance and Valor series. Book 2 is the Winterborne Home for Mayhem and Mystery, but I could not find any info on a possible book 3.
That's because the author is not writing book 3 because she's writing a screenplay. This is my favorite author, and she needs to hustle up and get it done.
I'm sensing a little rage there, Jess.
Just a tad. You don't stop in the middle of a series to go work on random other projects. And I'm talking to you too, Brandon Sanderson. Like, you've got to finish the series. Sorry, Janine, continue.
It's all good. Ali Carter is best known for her young adult series, including Gallagher Girls and Heist Society. This book is her middle grade debut. Her first original screenplay, A Castle for Christmas, was recently #1 on Netflix.
That's no excuse.
And Ali Carter is the pen name of Sarah Lee Fogelman.
I can understand why there's a pen name.
Yes. So, let's get into it. I know already that you like this book.
Yes, I do. I read it, many moons ago when it first came out, and I thought I'd remember the book. As I read, I go, no, I forgot. I remember none of this. So, it was good I read it again, because apparently I have forgotten 95% of that book. So,
All right.
what do you think?
I am enjoying this book. It's interesting. It's a fast read, which I also like. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I like something I can get through quickly. But I literally could think of nothing to say about it.
I know. I was going through, and normally I do some kind of notes. I'm going, I just like this book. It's just such a good book.
And I was like, I have no talking points because I'm like, I don't, like, stuff has happened, but there's just nothing to say about it. I don't know. I struggled.
It reminds me a little bit of a series of unfortunate events.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that.
Specifically the Jim Carrey movie.
Okay.
Orphans, Big House, Rich People Mystery. That's basically it. But yeah, no, I really like it. I will say there are times when April comes off as, like, she's what, 11 or 12?
Something like that, I think.
Something along those lines. And she's pointing out, like, security camera flaws and lasers in museums and whatnot to other kids in her class from going, okay, if my child knows how to steal a painting at 12, I either did a really good job or a really bad job of parenting them. Like,
I also got some Encanto vibes. I don't know if you've watched it.
I have not.
So there's the character Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. He's a member of the family, and he disappears. And it turns out he's, like, living in the walls of the house.
Oh.
The family house. Which this sort of reminded me of because the missing heir was also living in the bowels of the house. Sorry, bowels, that's a bad word.
The cellar.
Yes.
I will say, I find it hilarious how determined she was to catch him.
Yeah.
Like, Gabriel Winterborne mysteriously disappeared. Is the only one left. They're living in his house. Because of reasons, I guess.
I don't really ever explain that yet.
I don't know. Isabel just kind of basically went, yeah, I'm starting this up and we're doing it, and, bring your orphans.
Bring your orphans. No, I feel like she's collecting them.
She's collecting them, yeah. Not in a creepy way. She seems like a really nice person.
But I'm wondering if there's, like, a rhyme or reason to why she's picking the kids she's picking.
I don't know. Like, I think she's specifically looking for the smart, weird ones. Mm-hmm. Like, Violet, very good artist. Like, traumatically shy.
Yes.
Colin, he's already a bit of a grifter, and he's 11.
But he showed up there with somebody claiming that he was Winterborne's son.
Yes. His mother is also a crook who showed up to the house saying that Colin was Gabriel Winterborne's son, and they hauled her off to the police and kept the kid.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how legal that is.
Yeah.
But good story anyway. I do like the fact that he now sits on the staircase and judges all the other women that come claiming to be, fiancés or mothers or whatever. Yep. Because that's just hilarious.
That part I enjoyed.
And Tim came because of Violet.
Yeah.
Who's the other one? Oh, right, Sadie. Her parents were inventors for the foundation or whatever, and
right. She's an inventor.
She sounds like a kid where you just strap a fire extinguisher to her back because she's gonna need it.
Yep.
So, but like they're smart kids, but they're weird kids.
Yeah.
They're the outcasts.
They are kind of a ragtag bunch, which is part of the appeal, I think.
Yeah.
I will say I gave these books to my 13-year-old last summer on your recommendation. She really enjoyed them, and she saw me reading. She's like, "Oh, are you reading that? Oh, is it good? Do you like it? How?" She's like really excited that I'm reading it, and she's like,
"Well, Allie Carter also, she likes those. She also has the Gallagher Girl series." She'd be right at that age too.
Yeah.
So 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Okay, I'll have to keep that in mind. So she listened to them on Playaway, and so she's like, "Can you get me the Playaways again? I want to listen to them."
Ooh, also, sorry, I'm a huge Allie Carter nerd. Embassy Row.
Okay.
Really good.
Okay.
A little bit older, but not to the point where I'd tell you not to read it, because they're good, clean books for that age group.
Yeah, but she's very, very excited. She really enjoyed them. So, yeah, it's not a bad book. I just really have not a lot to say.
It's one of those where 95% of the time, if we have talking points, it's because the books are bad. And it's one of those books where it's just good. I like the character development. April seems a little bit old at times, but she went through 12 foster homes in 10 years, so you grow up fast in that kind of environment. Gabriel, I'm interested in. He seems like a character. The fact that she's so determined to catch him, she runs into him at one point, right? Yeah, she sees him and he didn't expect her to, but then she starts leaving out food for him, trying to catch him. And then she eventually tracks him to fireplace hidden door thing. Just breaks in merrily as you please. Goes and confronts the guy, tells him he smells. Who does that as a kid?
I know, she's bold.
Oh, completely and totally.
She's very bold. The one thing I will say, I feel worried for her character because she has it in her head that her mom's coming back for her. And I don't think her mom is coming back for her.
That kind of persistence does become a tad concerning.
I worry she's going to have a big disappointment.
Her mom also left her a key with the Winterborne crest on it.
Yeah.
And I want to know how she's connected to the Winterborne family, because I don't remember.
Gabriel is her dad. I bet you.
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
I don't know. Did they ever say how old Gabriel was? I got the impression he was early 30s.
I think he was a young boy when the rest of his family went missing. I think, was he in his teens when he went missing, maybe?
No, because they talked to Smithers, who's awesome.
Smithers.
I need a butler.
Sorry, Smithers just makes me think of Simpsons.
Smithers talks about him going to college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I think he was maybe mid-20s where he disappeared.
He's been missing, how long, do you remember? I don't remember.
I want to say a decade.
Okay, that sounds kind of like what I had in my head. So yeah, he would be 30s, so not that old, but old enough to have a 10 or 12-year-old.
It would be conceivable, but I don't know, it's just not the vibe I'm getting.
Okay.
So.
Also the sketchy uncle.
Oh, I was just going to say, creepy uncle. I mean, it's bad to say, it's the evil uncle. It's always the evil uncle. At this point, if there's a bad guy, I'm suspecting the uncle.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think there's anybody else really lined up for it, is there?
No.
There's nobody else.
Not obviously.
Yeah.
Which then makes me wonder, is it too obvious?
That's the thing. Is Smithers really being nice because it's a front? What about Miss Nelson?
Yeah, maybe she's the bad guy.
I do feel like she's hiding something.
It's possible.
Then again, it does seem like everybody's hiding something.
Also, I feel like these kids must be connected in some way. I don't know. I just feel like I want there to...
April has to be connected somehow. But I don't know how. Sadie's connected because her family was inventors for the foundation or whatever. Violet and Tim, I still haven't figured them out. Like, yeah, you draw good, so.
I know, but there had to be a reason, because she went specifically to that house to pick up Violet, right? Like,
yeah, there was prearranged things there.
Yeah.
Because at one point the lady mentioned, "Do I still get a check for her?"
yeah.
Which, wow, that lady needs to be smacked.
So I'm just curious as to why her. I don't know.
You think Violet or Miss Nelson's constructing like the A team or something?
Maybe. I pity the fool. Maybe. Or maybe the W team.
That could be. That could be.
I don't know. But I am looking forward to having all the mysteries solved.
Yes. What do you think about the Sentinel?
I'm not sure about that. Like, it keeps coming up, but I don't know. I'm like, why do they keep talking about this? Just, I don't care.
April lit the museum on fire. She was inside the museum, but when they found her, she was on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
She passed out at the museum.
Yes.
And her last thought was that the Sentinel statue seemed to be moving closer. And maybe it was the Sentinel, who knows? But then also, the Sentinel, we'll just call it the Sentinel, even though we don't know for sure it's Sentinel, showed up in their bedroom and tried to steal her key. And did steal her key? Yeah, he did steal her key. So...
Was that the Sentinel, or was that Gabriel Winterborne?
Gabriel, I don't think admitted to it.
Well, of course he didn't.
Yeah, she would have pestered him enough into it.
I don't know.
There was no indication that he actually did it. He might have. But see, that's the thing. There's somebody clearly pretending to be the Sentinel. Mm-hmm. Who that is, what their purpose is, and why are you breaking into an 11-year-old girl's room?
Yeah. See, in my head at the museum, it was Gabriel Winterborne who got her out.
Maybe.
But I could be totally wrong.
He can go for a stroll, but he can't go for a shower. I mean...
Maybe that was the last time he showered and then he went there and that's why he stank.
Could be.
I don't know.
Could be because he lives in the cellars.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't remember. I know I've read this book before, but I don't remember any of it. That's really annoying.
Well, at least then we're, like, in the same boat.
Yes. Same boat that has no idea where it's going.
Yes.
I will say, I mean, the book's got good pacing, good writing, no complaints on that regard. My
Yes.
only complaint is, where is book 3?
Allie Carter, if you're listening, get to work. Just
Yes.
kidding.
No, not kidding. Read it. Write it, please.
There was, like, literally nothing online about
I
book
know.
3. Like, nothing.
My sister's a big fan, too, and she keeps checking.
Yeah.
And she's just like, refresh. I gave her
That's
these
a
2
little
books for Christmas, actually.
Okay.
She's 25. This book is great for all ages.
Yeah. It's interesting for sure. And it took me, like, I don't know, maybe an hour to get through the first half. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a fast read for sure.
It's a fast read, but it doesn't read like it's junior fiction, but it's not Rainbow Fairies junior fiction.
Oh my goodness.
It's not dumbed down.
That is the worst junior fiction possible. Every single book is the same. Exactly the same. And there are like 100 of them. I don't know. Don't read them. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
That's
don't. It's bad.
I used to read them with my oldest when she was young. Nope. Never again.
You better hope your youngest doesn't get into them.
So far not, but we still have some in our house, so we'll see.
Quick, ban them.
I know. I'm going to get them out of the house.
She can't find them, she can't read them.
That is true. She's into other things right now, so that's good.
That's good.
I will not introduce them to her on my own.
Probably wise. Oh.
Anyways.
I mean, there's not a whole lot to say because it's just such a good book and everybody should read it. And I'm looking forward to the second half and then actually reading the second book in the series too because...
I am looking forward to the second half also because I don't like not knowing what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. It's very difficult for me to stop halfway through a book.
Yeah.
Because generally, by the time you get to the half point of the book, things are heating up, things are moving. Mm-hmm. You know, all the boring explaining stuff at the beginning has been done.
Yeah. You're just getting momentum.
Granted, the book does start with them lighting museum on fire.
It's true.
It doesn't take
But
long for
still,
things to get moving.
when you reach the midpoint of a book, there is a certain amount of momentum that's happening, right? And
Yeah.
you're kind of building up to that climax of the book. Mm-hmm. And so that's the challenge with this, is because it's like, I gotta know what happens. You can't just, it's not like when you just sit down and pick up a book, you can't just keep reading.
Yeah, you can't just like, I'll stop when I get to a boring part.
Yeah. And so that's the challenge with this concept that we came up with.
We made life difficult for ourselves.
But also, I think it makes it interesting because it's like, oh, well, what's going to happen? Let's talk about that. Let's,
That's the thing. Well, what do you think's going to happen in the second half?
I don't know. I think April is somehow connected to the Winterborns, for sure. Mm-hmm. How, I don't know. I feel like I don't know, like she's the heir to the Winterborns.
But the heir is already there.
But she's the heir,
the heir of the heir?
The heir of the heir.
Is she the spare?
She's not the spare. Because she's second in line. She's Prince William.
I don't know.
I don't know. But I think somehow, I just really have this feeling that there's something important about each of the kids and why they're at that house.
Yeah. They seem deliberate.
Yeah.
Especially considering Sadie and Colin have been there for what? Sadie 2 years, Colin 1 year, I think?
Yeah, something like that. Not long, anyway.
And in one day, they've upped the amount of kids by 3?
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to only be 2, though.
Yeah, but still, they doubled the amount of kids in one day.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think Gabriel is going to be found out by the rest of the kids, and possibly the adults. We'll see. I have a feeling the uncle's going to make some moves, because he just, like, shows up and wanders around the house, and that's just creepy.
Mm-hmm. That is weird.
And it seems like he's looking for something. Mm-hmm. So I think that there's going to be a hunt for something.
Yep.
I just don't know what that something is.
Yep.
Like,
related to the key.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because you don't just give anybody a random key for, the front door.
Nope.
Especially if you're abandoning your baby at a fire station. So.
Yep.
Do you think the mother will come back?
I really don't. I hope, like, my hope would be that she would, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Which I feel like could be a big letdown.
Yeah. The whole realization that April's mother is not coming back, that might maybe tip her over the edge, but...
Too depressing for kids to read. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't read a lot of junior fiction since I was the age to read junior fiction, so...
Don't remember any scarring Bambi incidents?
No, I remember watching Bambi and being very scarred by it, but...
I've never watched Bambi.
I saw it in the theater. I think I hid under my chair. I'm not kidding.
Okay.
So anyways...
I'm looking forward to the second half.
Yep.
And
me too.
The second book.
I might just read it tonight.
I think I want to know what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. I want to know what... I don't remember. It's driving me bonkers. Like, even as I was reading it, I'm going, I don't remember any of this.
I'm so happy that you don't remember.
Like, the Sentinel. If you would have asked me to describe this book, the Sentinel would not been in there anywhere. I have no idea. I would have said Gabriel Winterborne's hiding in the basement. She lights a museum on fire and she finds him. Like
the end.
The end. They lived happily ever after. So I don't know. So I'm looking forward to actually finding out everything I've forgotten. So yeah, I guess we'll see with the second half.
And we're back with part 2 of the Winterborne Home for Vengeance and Valor. So I'm going to start off by saying I'm a little upset.
Why?
Because now I need to read the next one.
It is really good.
And I just felt like there was some unanswered questions.
Well, that's because it's a 3-book series.
I know, but sometimes you can read the first book and it's fine. You don't need to continue.
Yeah.
But I need to continue, and I'm a little bit upset about that because I don't have room for more books in my life. Not that this one will take me that long, but... I mean, it's upsetting in a good way. It's not like I'm not really mad, obviously, but yeah.
No, it's really good. It does definitely end on a cliffhanger, somewhat literally.
Yes.
There's cliffs.
There are cliffs. And, like, where's her mother?
I've read the second one.
I know you have.
I can't tell you. You have to read it.
Do you remember the second one?
Now that I've read the first one, the second one's coming back to me.
Okay, yeah.
I still need to read it again because I only remember, like, kind of the main bits and pieces.
Well, you can't because I have it at home.
I have a copy. I have an ebook of it. And my sister has copies because I bought them for her for Christmas.
I also have the Playaway at my house, too, so... Nobody can have this book.
Playaway of these.
My 13-year-old loves them. She was so excited. When I finished, she was like, so, what'd you think? Did you like it? And I was like... I told her. I was like, I'm mad. And she's like, why are you mad? Because I have to read the second one. She's like, do you have to? Or
Yes.
do you want to.
It's non-negotiable. You have to read the second one.
And I was like, okay, like, I think she meant have to, like, for the podcast. And I was like, fine, I don't have to.
At some point, we need to just do an entire series so we stop having just like, we read the first one. It was great. Now we've got 5 more.
Yeah.
No, at one point, April describes her and her friends as precocious. And yeah, that pretty much sums it up. They're a bunch of precocious little scamps.
Yep.
So.
That's exactly right. It's interesting to me how they seem to all band together so quickly. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, once they all got on the same page with Gabriel Winterborne, and like...
That's the thing, he goes, don't tell anybody. She's like, yeah, I brought 5 more kids.
Yeah, exactly. But then they all, like, came together, and they were supportive of each other, and, like, helped each other out, and...
Well, they all have their strengths, and...
Yeah.
Honestly, there's a point where April's going... Yeah, I think she, like, unconscious Gabriel was her favorite Gabriel so far.
Yes.
Because he didn't growl quite so much.
Yes.
But.
There was a period of time where I was sure that the housekeeper, whose name is escaping me right now.
Izzy?
Yes. That she was a bad guy.
Well, you don't know that she isn't yet, because she disappeared at the end of the book.
That's true. But she did send a message back, right?
Yeah.
So... Are you trying to tell me something about book 2?
No, I'm not trying to tell you anything about book 2.
No spoilers, Jess.
Wouldn't possibly.
No spoilers. Yeah, I was very suspicious, or as the kids say these days, sus, of her. I know, I see your face, and that's how I feel actually saying that word out loud.
Yep.
She's very suspicious to me. Mm-hmm. I did like that they figured out what the key was for.
Yes.
At least they answered one question.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it wasn't one of those books where everything is built up and then in book 3 you finally get answers.
Yeah.
Like, they kind of add it in bits and pieces. And I'm not sure if we talked about this in the first half, but for the record, it was not Gabriel that broke into the girls' room to steal April's key.
Right.
It was Everett, the evil uncle. Because, I mean, that is the one thing where I'm like, it's very predictable having an evil uncle. Mm-hmm. But I'm not mad about it. Like,
it works.
There is a point where I'm going, how many sentinels are there running around?
Yeah. The sentinel part I don't totally get. I don't know if it's going to become more clear.
Clarified a bit in the second one.
Okay.
I'm still waiting on the third one because she hasn't published it yet to actually find out. But...
There isn't...
Yeah, it's definitely clarified a bit more.
Yeah, okay.
And Gabriel was not the one that saved.
Yeah. He didn't save April.
April from the fire at the museum.
So then who did?
Well, probably the sentinel that was running along the cliff at the end.
But who's that guy?
Well, we don't know that. We have to read the second book.
Is it her mother? Where's her mother?
Do you think her mother's alive now? I thought you said her mother was dead.
I don't know. I waffle. Very waffly on that point. Because, like, well, I'm curious because they figured out how all of the other kids are related to the Winterborns in some way, like, or
they're
connected
not
to.
Chosen by random. Like, even Tim, his father was one of the assassins.
Yeah.
Or not assassins. Assassins implies competence. He's one of the hitmen that tried to kill Gabriel.
Yes. So what is April's connection then? How does she fit? And that question was also not. There are so many unanswered questions, Jess. Sorry, I pounded on the table in my anger.
You're just gonna have to read the next one.
I know. I don't have time. I have like 50 books waiting to be read.
But like that's the thing. It does answer some things, and it definitely answers more questions. I will say one thing that concerned me a little bit with this book is Sadie keeps blowing things up. Where is this child getting things to blow things up?
I know.
Like, I know you can make a bomb out of like sugar and toothpaste or whatever. I don't think it's toothpaste. It's sugar and something else. Yeah, chemistry is fun. But like, she's got the drone, like the Sadie-O-Matic 200, and she blew up the first one because that's their getaway mechanism if the drone gets stuck or whatever. But I'm going,
yeah.
Where's the child getting explosives?
Well, obviously from the Winterborne fortune.
Yes, I did like the fact that the treasure that Everett was looking for was not like
connected to the key, or
and it's connected to the key, but the treasure that he's looking for is not money. It is the whole Sentinel thing, and the fact that the key opens up a room to basically the Sentinel training room.
Right.
So.
Right.
Which does make me wonder if... Okay, so April got the key from her mother.
Is her mother the Sentinel? You do know.
Of course I know.
Don't make that face at me.
But how is her mother, like, from what I understand, the Sentinel and the whole, like, it's very much a firstborn type thing that's kept fairly close to guarded secret. Mm-hmm. Her mother's definitely not the firstborn Winterborne that we know of. So, if her mother gave her the key and clearly knows that it's important, how did her mother find out about the whole Winterborne Sentinel thing?
Right.
Like,
Unless her mother is a Winterborne, which has not been
maybe.
confirmed
but,
or
like,
denied yet.
But who?
I don't know.
Like, Everett didn't get married and have kids. And she'd be the right age? No, she'd be too old, or too young, to be a sibling of Everett and whatever Gabriel's father's name is.
Unless she's Gabriel's sibling.
Did he have a sister?
Maybe she's a secret sister.
No!
Now you're just mocking me.
I don't know. I just trying to figure out how it connects her, because that I don't know. Like,
I guess
'cause
you'll
she
have to
had to
read the
know-
second one too.
oh, this wasn't covered in the second one.
Oh.
She had to know that that key was important.
Yeah.
Like, and had to have an idea of what it led to. Otherwise, like, you're not going to give somebody the key to, like, a wardrobe cupboard unless it leads to Narnia. So somehow she knew, and she was connected enough to know about it. I don't know. Alan Carter needs to finish it.
Yes.
It's been way too long.
I need all my
No
questions
patience.
answered. And I couldn't, there was literally no information about book 3 anywhere.
Yeah, no.
Nothing.
Like, it's to the point where I'm going, oh, pick it outside your house.
Do it.
Like-
You'd like to see that.
When was the first book, when was this book published to?
Well, let's take a look.
I want to say it was before COVID.
2020.
Yeah. You've had 3 years. I expect this book by now. Come on. I know she's working on other projects, but I have no patience. There's a reason why I will often wait until the entire series is done before I even start book 1, because
Once you start, you have to...
once you pop, you can't stop.
That's what it is.
Like, and I have zero patience, so. But I will say the characters are fairly well developed. Like, I do like the fact that Smithers has a t-shirt that says Butler's Buttle Best.
Yes.
Like, they're all... There's not really a character that's kind of two-dimensional.
Yeah.
Like, I think the closest would be Violet, and that's mainly because I feel like her time to shine's coming up, as opposed to, like, Sadie's very much like, oh, I'll help you tow a body up a cliff.
But also that's just her personality, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. She's very quiet.
Mm-hmm. So it's maybe not that she's not developed. She's just quiet.
Yeah, but, like, of all the characters, she was involved the least.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I will say, there's a point where I'm going, my, all these children are very, very willing to haul a dead-looking man with a sword stuck in him up a cliff in the middle of the night. Relatively no questions asked.
It's definitely
ride or die kids.
a book of bad choices.
Mainly Gabriel's.
Yes.
I mean, not gonna lie, some of April's I'm going, really?
Yeah, we're also a little suspect. But yeah, if you're the sort of person who gets frustrated when people are making stupid decisions, you might not want to read this one.
To be fair, it's a bunch of kids.
It is kids.
Be stupid when you're young.
But it could also be like, why isn't anyone watching these kids?
Yeah, they are relatively unsupervised. And there's a point where I'm going, Izzy? Watch the children.
Yeah.
But I think she's quite used to just having Sadie and Colin.
Yeah.
So if you have Sadie and Colin, you're prepared for explosions and things going missing, not fire, cliffs, dragging men out of the ocean, breaking into random people's houses.
Yeah.
Like, it's a different level of precociousness.
And she basically in one day more than doubled her amount of children that she was responsible for, so
I think there's
that's a lot.
little bit of not planning. Although, did they figure out why Violet was there?
Oh, maybe not Violet. I can't remember.
Because they figured out why Tim was there. And Tim was most definitely not random. Like, Izzy made it seem like she pulled up to Violet's house, was ready to take Violet, and took Tim because he's the guard dog.
Yeah.
I think Izzy played it smart.
Yeah.
She took Violet, because then she knew she'd have Tim. Whereas if she tried to take just Tim, there's no way in heck he'd leave Violet behind.
Yeah.
So, I don't think Violet was her main goal.
Maybe not.
Unless there's some connection there that we're not aware of.
That's true, because from the beginning I thought that Violet was the one she wanted and Tim just was along for the ride.
Yeah.
But now it's the opposite.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It gets curiouser and curiouser.
Mm-hmm.
But I am very much looking forward to the third book whenever it comes out. And you definitely have to read the second book because...
Yeah, I know. I checked it out already, like, the day after I finished this one.
Yeah. Thing is, like, one thing I was a little bit disappointed by was the fact that Gabriel had to actually go, yeah, I'm alive.
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of hoping they'd leave it to, like, the second book-ish, just because he could sneak around and do more stuff.
Yep.
And actually, you know, figure out some more mysteries if he didn't have to also be a billionaire.
Yep.
Because, I mean, I did find it hilarious when he was just signing papers in the library. And the kids
Yeah.
are, like, in the balcony or whatever, just whispering. He's going, I can hear you.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It will be interesting to see how it all plays out. And with Izzy gone, is it just Smithers and Gabriel taking care of the kids?
That doesn't seem like a good idea.
Mainly because I think all they're ever going to eat is Smithers' soup.
No, I think those two will definitely need some help.
Yeah, they are. Those kids are a handful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, although Gabriel can take care of himself fairly well. I mean, he.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Like, he's only been back at the mansion for what, like, a month or two, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So I do want to know more of his backstory of where he's all been. I know he sent the postcards from like Namibia and Australia and so on and so forth.
Yep.
And they spelled out "not dead," which is very clever. But also, like, you could just write "not dead."
But then anybody could see that. That's the thing. You have no privacy with a postcard.
Yeah, but you don't know. So he knows how to take care of himself, get away with a fair amount. So I don't know. It'll be interesting.
But where did he get the money for all that traveling?
He's a billionaire.
But didn't somebody notice that there was money being used?
Thing is, if you're a billionaire, you got money stashed in a million different places. So I would assume that somewhere he either took a bunch of money and lived on cash, or there's an account nobody knew of, or he, like, I mean, let's be real, he looked like a homeless guy. He may have just kind of winged it. Like,
Yeah.
if you're willing to live with nothing but a backpack, life is cheaper. And if you have to stay on the move anyway, and you don't have to worry about rent, you don't have to worry about utilities, like, it does become more affordable.
I guess.
Not advocating for homelessness, for the record. He was definitely not staying at world-class hotels. And also, they knew he wasn't dead. Like, he disappeared, but they kept looking for him. So, it is conceivable that he would have taken some money and they saw a withdrawal or something and went, what the heck? So, I don't know. I would like more clarification on that, too. But
Yeah. I know. So many unanswered questions.
I don't know if it makes him... I'm trying to figure out how to say this in a kid-friendly way. The fact that he had a phone number and "Tell Izzy I'm sorry" tattooed on his side in like 5 different languages. Like, I don't know if that's considerate or incredibly inconsiderate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, on the one hand, great, gives her closure because she knows you're dead.
Yeah.
On the other hand, really, dude?
I know. That part seems a little weird to me also.
Yeah. Like, it's very Jason Bourne.
And is the random person who finds your body actually going to tell Izzy you're sorry?
If I found somebody with a phone number tattooed on them, I'd call the phone number.
Would you?
Yeah.
I
There
guess.
might be a reward. And, like, I don't think I couldn't. Because
guess.
at the very least, it gives them closure.
Yeah.
At the most, I get a reward. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
If it's the police that find the body, do you think that they would get the reward?
I don't know how it works with police and reward systems. I don't know if that's considered, like, bribery of an officer or something. Maybe it goes to charity. Or maybe you just keep the reward. Because, you know, you get ready to get paid for doing your job.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Now I feel like I need to look that up. But that will be later. Was there anything that surprised you about the book?
How many unanswered questions I still had at the end?
That should not have surprised you. It's a 3-book series with the same characters
Well,
throughout.
That doesn't always mean there's so many unanswered questions. Sometimes 3-book series focus on different characters in each book, so...
Yeah, but this one does.
Anyway, the key, to me, seemed like a bit of a letdown to where it led to. I don't know why. I was expecting
Yeah.
something more exciting.
I was expecting there to be a bit more of a challenge to figure out what the key opened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, when it comes to... I mean, I may just be cynical, but if you tell me that a key opens treasure, I'm gonna go, yeah, that's the dust bunnies. Like, it's almost never like, ooh, piles of gold, yay. Let's not let the government find out about this so I don't get taxed. But I was expecting there to be a bit more of a, like, hey, let's try it in multiple places. Because before the key got stolen, she didn't really try it in anything. They were looking for places that the key might be used, and they found a bunch of different boxes and rooms and that kind of thing. But then they got the key back, and they're just like, oh, I noticed on the fireplace there's a crest and it's backwards. Like, that part to me was a bit like...
Yeah.
I mean, granted, if you're looking for something, you're more likely to find it, but it's...
Yeah.
Kind of, you know.
I was just expecting something else, I guess. I don't know what, but...
Yeah. I was never expecting it to be piles of gold. Documents? Yeah.
A letter from her mother.
A letter from anybody?
I don't know why this mother thing really bothers
The mother
me.
thing bugs you, doesn't it?
It really does.
Okay, you need to read the second book then, because I don't want to ruin it for you.
Nope. No spoilers, no spoilers. I will read it. I have 2 copies of it at my house right now, so one way or another, we'll get read.
Good, good. I would recommend, like, if you just like mystery,
Yeah.
it's a good book.
It's a good book.
Like, it's junior fiction, but honestly, just read it. It's really good.
I'm always very skeptical of junior fiction because I feel like it's not going to be interesting. Like, it's going to be too simple.
I mean, with junior fiction, I find a lot of things, you can judge it by the thickness of the book. Like, if it's going to be Rainbow Fairies where it's, like, 5 pages thick, yeah, that's going to be disappointing. But if it's full-on, like, Rick Riordan, like, Harry Potter, like a proper thick book, it's more likely. I would say the one exception I would have to that, it would be Gordon Corman. That's also not mystery. That's just hilarious.
Yeah, just in general, though, like, junior fiction to me is, like, I always think, oh, yeah, maybe I should read that because that looks interesting. And then I think, I don't know.
There's some really good junior fiction out there.
Yeah.
Like, Gordon Corman has a series called Masterminds? Yeah, I think it's Masterminds. Where it's a bunch of kids living in a, like, science experiment town, essentially, where everything's normal and everything's perfect. And, like, pacifism is the main thing. Like, we don't fight, we don't argue, nothing ever. And it turns out all the parents of these kids are scientists. They're not actually their parents. And all these kids are clones of famous, horrible people. So you have, like, a kid that's a serial killer clone. There's a kid that is, like, a bank robber. And it's an experiment to see if it's the whole nature versus nurture thing, whether there's something genetically wrong or whether it is their upbringing. Well, these kids find out and they escape and they go across country trying to find answers and that kind of thing. And it's really interesting.
That sounds interesting.
And there's a point where I'm going, man, this is so good. But yeah, 10 out of 10 would recommend that one.
Yeah.
And that one's only 2 books, but it is a series, so you'd have to read 2 books rather than 3. But would recommend that one.
Okay, good
It's
to
really,
know.
really interesting premise. So
I know. There are lots of junior fiction books that look very interesting to me, or that my daughter has read and said, these are so good. Like, Land of Stories is a series that I've always been curious about.
the illustrations in Land of Stories are so good.
Yeah.
That I just kind of go, kind of want to read. There's also the Junior Easy book it's like The Big Tree or something.
Okay.
But honestly, artwork on that's great. It reminds me very much of Phoebe Gilman.
Okay, yeah. But I would definitely recommend this one.
Yes, definitely read it. But maybe just for the sake of blood pressure and lack of frustration, wait until the 3rd book eventually comes out.
Well, it's too late now for me.
Do you know what we should do? Once the 3rd book eventually comes out, we'll do a podcast on the 3rd book.
Okay, done.
Because then we can tell everybody, yeah, the 3rd book's finally here. And if it never happens, it never came out. And we're all terribly depressed because we don't know the answers.
That or we don't work here anymore.
Yeah, that's also an option. So,
Depending on how long it takes.
yeah. I would also say anything else by Ali Carter's good. The only ones I didn't really like were her 2 adult ones. Yeah, her adult ones I'm like, don't care for them. But there's the Heist Society, which is teenage art thieves. And there is the Gallagher Girl series, which is a spy school. There's also Embassy Row, which is a bunch, like these series are all YA. I think Winterborne's the first junior fiction she's done.
I think so, yeah.
But the Embassy Row, it is a small country, and there's a whole bunch of embassies right beside each other. So you have, like, all of these kids from different countries going to the same school, and there's a whole big mystery, and honestly, the mystery, and that's really, really good. And, yeah, it's very interesting. So.
Okay, you have to stop now.
Yeah.
I don't need...
Just read everything by Ali Carter that
don't
she's ever written.
need more books to read.
Well, you have time.
I have time.
Well, you don't have to read them now.
Well, I have time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have time. But
If by some miracle you ever run out of books to read, you could always pick up an Ali Carter book. Yeah.
yes.
But any fun facts for us?
Yes. So, we've mentioned this book is written by Ali Carter, not to be confused with the snooker player Ali Carter.
Snooker, not snooker.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, we just thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I don't know how often people get those confused, especially considering they're spelled differently.
Yeah, they are. And I think people who are fans of one are likely not fans of the other. Like different demographics.
Probably not. Yeah.
So anyway, and then a quote from a publisher's weekly interview from Ali Carter. One of my biggest concerns was to properly represent the foster system. Most of the kids in the American foster care system aren't there because they're orphans. It's because their parents are in prison. So in this book, the kids are chosen to live in the Winterborne Home for very specific reasons. They're not just a random cross-section of foster care. With April, I wanted to show that she's had both good and bad experiences within the system, even as she holds out hope that her mother will come back someday and she'll find her forever home. So,
I have objections with the term forever home. Because the number of dog advertisements I've seen where it's like, looking for their forever home. And it's usually spelled F-U-R. It's just...
Oh, forever.
That level of cutesiness makes me gag.
Aside from that, though...
Completely random.
I appreciated that she was intentional about representing foster care properly. So...
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's not all sunshine and butterflies.
No.
Like, Tim ends up stitching up Gabriel when he's got the sword wound. Such weird things to say. Because he's used to stitching up either himself or other foster kids in the same foster home, because oftentimes taking him to the hospital is just not a priority for the foster parents.
Yep.
But that being said, April also had a couple of good ones where it's like, it wasn't a bad experience. So she doesn't demonize it, but she also doesn't... It's not all sunshine and butterflies. Like...
Yep.
It's a pretty good representation.
Tells it like it is.
Yep.
So...
But yeah. No. I mean, in closing, I'd say read this book. It's really good.
I would second that.
And then read everything else by Ali Carter.
So that's what we thought of this book.
But those are just our opinions, and we'd like to hear yours.
So leave us a comment.
Thanks for joining us for Between the Lines, and thanks to our editor, Linda.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.